Ethereum. Pretty much for the rest of this decade, you're just dollar cost averaging in your savings into that, especially at opportune times like at these cycle lows, which we tend to come on to the Fresh and Fit stream. These are usually good times to be throwing in a good chunk of money. So that's why we put this here.
Yeah, we always try, like we said this in the last show, we'll say it again. We don't come on the show typically when Bitcoin's at its all-time high, when it's a big hype phase, because we want you guys to get the best value. Even if you don't get into the crypto mindset course, we want you to, maybe if you might offhandedly hear, you know what, I'm gonna invest in some crypto, I'm gonna buy some Bitcoin, I'm gonna buy an altcoin, I'm gonna buy some SUI. You're gonna get in at a good price, right? Like on average, last time we were here in September, at the very least, you know, you're up 30% on whatever you bought in September. Some coins like Dogecoin, you're up like 2.5 times what it was then. Other coins are up even more, right? So it just depends on the risk curve that you're in. But I mean, Bitcoin was literally 60 grand, 63,000. Today it's 90,000. You know, so that, I mean, that's a really big jump and stuff like that. So, and that's on the biggest asset in crypto. But, you know, we were some of the first people to say that there was going to be a Bitcoin ETF, an Ethereum ETF, and people said, you know, we're full of shit. Now they've come true. We said there's going to be a Litecoin, a Dogecoin ETF. Now those are actually in the process of happening. XRP. I don't like XRP. I think most of America doesn't like XRP. I think most mothers of America do not like XRP. But XRP is probably going to get an ETF because they've, you know, payola in the government and
the right friends
and they're schmoozing. So it is what it is. Game is game, right? But you know, we're getting quite a few new types of ETFs for Ethereum and Bitcoin. We're getting a market adjusted ETF, which means if let's just say like we have 4 quarters, for every $1 Ethereum will get 1 quarter, and 75 cents will go to Bitcoin. And there's going to be more like dividend style ETFs for Ethereum where you're going to be able to get staking yield. And so one of the reasons why me and Charlie believe that the big institutions are buying so much Ethereum right now is because they're about to pass this new ETF, and Vitalik and the guys at the Ethereum Foundation are about to upgrade Ethereum in March. So a validator, which means is like it's a way for how you run like Ethereum on your computer. It goes from 32 Ethereum to 2,000 Ethereum. So they're changing the game for the big players. They're giving them more voting shares. They're giving me more and more rights, and effectively they're I mean, in a way they're kind of pimping out Ethereum, but I think it's part of the deal. So price goes up basically. Like people are crazy to think that there isn't like background deals going down. Like absolutely there is.
That's good for Ethereum. I see some people in the chat saying, "Oh, Ethereum is 50% of its all-time high," and I'm here to say, good. Like, get in and buy. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, when it goes down, this is when you buy, guys. Like, this is when you take opportunity.
Common sense.
Like, but of course, there's idiots on here that say, "Oh, bro, is it this? I'm good on that, bro." Is that this Bitcoin idiot?
Yeah, that's a guy calls in all the time.
He calls in
ignore him, bro.
Bitches and he always
yeah. He hates you guys, by the way. He is your guys' biggest hater.
Love you too.
And he always talks about BTC is the only one you should buy. Everything else is a scam.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Good luck with that. Listen, guys, real quick. With the advent of AI coming about to businesses as a more prevalent thing, what coins should people look at closely
Ethereum
for
is
AI?
about 2,500 right now, 2,497.
With AI.
We have a handful of coins that we like here in the crypto space that are doing AI simply because there's only a handful that actually have AI projects that are actually being used right now. 2 of the top ones are ASI, which is artificial superintelligence / fetch, FET. Basically, those are the same coin. They are pretty much creating software where smart contracts can communicate with AI. They do have some AI capabilities within themselves, but essentially, for example, a use case would be, let's say you have a software that wants to pay itself, right? So let's say, for example, you're like, hey, I need you, my AI agent, to go through all of these paid services because, you know, there's a course here, there's some information there that I just need to scrape off the internet because I don't have enough time to do it myself. So can you please go buy all these different courses related to XYZ? You have a budget of, let's say, $5,000 to purchase these, and then give me the summary of all of that information so that I can start utilizing it and what's the most, you know, relevant.
Wow.
You could do that with that type of thing.
Should we explain what an AI agent is a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I guess you want to go ahead with that?
Yeah, so it's imagine that you essentially can create a digital version of yourself. That's like the easiest way to do it. Is that like imagine that it will go through Myron's entire Twitter, you know, and figure out like what level of tiny hat hating I like. And then you'll decide in the background like, oh, I want it to be 100% the way I tweet, and it'll be like Myron Gaines AI X, and it'll start tweeting exactly like you do on current events and stuff, and you just make it as active as you want. And that's going to be like the first evolution of it. And then from there, you can have it like do research for you, do tweets for you, possibly do content in the next 10 years. You'd even have like a digital version of yourself. So
or of your workforce,
as well. So like this is why like IP is so important. You have to, like Fresh has been saying this for a long time. You got, you know, if you're going to start a YouTube channel, you're going to start something, you got to do it now.
Yeah.
You know, these next 4 years, while AI is still getting kind of set up right now, you've got to get out there and make a name for yourself, make your money, get your bag, because AI is going to be disrupting like white collar and eventually blue collar work crazily.
Yeah, bro. I was in Mar-a-Lago with Myron. We had a talk with some guys, Elon's people. It's scary what's coming, man. It's very scary because the mass population, bro, doesn't know what's coming, and they're gonna be cooked, man. So very scary.
Yeah, there's a lot of good books on it. If people are getting educated right now, I would say the top two educations in technology are crypto and AI. And the intersection between them is interesting. I think Dave Knight in the chat here says crypto is the currency of AI. Absolutely will be, especially stable coins. We had a Michael Saylor actually recently tell the SEC and the Trump administration what he thinks a good kind of target for a Bitcoin strategic reserve would be, and that'd be about 20% of all Bitcoin being owned by the United States. So they actually have some targets for building that out. And so stable coins would definitely be something that the AI would use. Another kind of example use case would be, let's say you bought a group of Teslas here in Las Vegas, and you wanted to have like an automated taxi service because they are automated drivers, but you know, they can accept certain types of money. They can accept credit cards. They can accept crypto. And then, you know, they can go fuel themselves up and pay, you know, at any gas station with digital currency or central bank digital currency or stable coins or whatever it is. Like, you'll eventually have like all this automation from your taxi driver all the way up to, you know, your office job.
And it's sort of like, imagine like, now the taxi business is going to be a little more like every taxi is going to be its own individual LLC or business. So if it makes enough money, it can pay for itself to get repaired and fixed up and stuff, and then any leftover profits gets transferred over to you. Where I would say it's taxis is going to be the first big automation, and then the other one's going to be, I would say, big rigs, basically, trucks, trailers. It's going to start off first on the major highways, and it's going to be like it's going to be this whole thing where like you're going to have a big Tesla truck driving on the interstates, and then when it starts getting to like the sketchier parts of the city, then someone takes over from there, and then eventually it's going to be like one guy watching 10 computers of trucks, and then eventually it's going to go to like one guy watching 25 trucks of them delivering things and stuff like that. And that's going to be like the automation. So the guy who's managing all that is going to make a lot of money, right? Like, I mean, truckers make good money, especially if they're driving a lot. But imagine that like he'll probably be getting paid $300,000-$400,000, but he's managing like a ton of trucks. And then that's what's going to happen is that, you know, we've seen through like technology that a startup with 10 people ends up making like $1 billion. Very, very, very soon, I would say the next 15 years, we're going to start seeing entrepreneurs where it's going to be like 2-person to 1-person teams. With AI, we'll start a $1 billion company. I mean, the only other company I can think of that did that was something maybe like Minecraft, where like the main guy who made Minecraft made $1 billion game. He just had a little help with music. But that's extremely rare. But that's going to become extremely common, where like we're going to start having like solopreneur with AI, creating $100 million companies, $50 million companies, $100 billion companies is going to be very, very, very common.
Yeah, and if you have economic power being centralized, then what's the way for the average person in order to lift themselves out of that? Because a lot of people will be losing their jobs and stuff from that, or be made more redundant, right? The way to kind of do that with cryptocurrency is to have something that's against inflation first and foremost, and then have something that can actually grow quite a bit beyond that. So that's why we think crypto is such a powerful tool here.
Yeah. And people doubt technology, how fast it moves.
Yeah. Let them jump in.
I mean, from a political standpoint, AI is here to stay. I made a video on this on my channel, Myron Gaines X, but you know, I try to keep the political stuff off of Fresh and Fit, but what I will say is this, just because it weaves into what we're saying. The tech bros have infiltrated the White House. They've infiltrated the Republicans. They've infiltrated MAGA, and they're here to stay. Elon Musk, Bezos, Zuckerberg, Altman, all these guys, Peter Thiel, Sam Karp, Palantir people, PayPal Mafia, they're here. And I was watching a speech by Vivek Ramaswamy earlier. He's running for governor of Ohio. He's probably going to win just because of his enormous platform, and no one really knows who the fuck, his competitor is going to be. And during his speech, he was pushing for AI deregulation. Also, J.D. Vance also talked about, the Vice President of the United States, AI deregulation, right? Well, why? Well, because all the backers and the MAGA, when they brought J.D. Vance in, a lot of them are tech bros. So what I foresee is it's here to stay. And what I predict is going to happen is after Trump does this term, 2028, I predict J.D. Vance is going to run for president. Vivek is going to be his vice president. And the tech bros are going to continue to push them against the Democratic Party, because I think the Democratic Party kind of missed the train with this whole tech run. And it's going to be the Republicans that usher in this AI innovation thing. And I do foresee that's what's going to happen in 2028, because we're already seeing this talking point of AI deregulation. We need to push AI. J.D. Vance was literally in Europe talking about it. It's here to stay now at this point, at least in the United States, and they're trying to be on the cutting edge of it. So AI and crypto is the future, guys. There's no escaping it. Like I said before, you guys know my political views when it comes to these tech bros. I don't like any of them. But when it comes to crypto in the future, that's a good sign when it comes to crypto being on the upside, and it's here to stay.
The new world order.
Space race, or like the race to get the first, atomic bomb, basically, right now.
Yeah.
Who's going to get the first, actual weaponized, I don't like to say that, but weaponized AI, basically.
Yep.
It's going to take a lot of that's why they're talking about building reactors again in America. I can't, probably since when's the last time they tried to make a reactor? Since the 1970s? That's probably last time they ever built a reactor. Google's literally talking about building reactors now. And that's how much energy is needed to power these essentially these weapons. And what happens is we're not going to, us consumers, we're not going to get that, right? But what happens is it gets so advanced that the little offshoot stuff that it shoots out, like the chat GBTs, because the stuff we're playing around with now is kind of just funny. It's it's toys basically, right?
Yeah, it's
but
early tech.
It's early tech, but that doubles or quadruples in intelligence and speed and power and the ability for it to, do calculations or gather information, that it makes those little toy AIs so much better that you could start doing incredible things and stuff like that. So like some of the stuff we're talking about, the AI agents, is still really early. We guys in crypto are doing it right now, but it's still super early. It's clanky. It's just kind of,
if you look at it from a crypto angle as well, when you did get a lot of the tech stuff coming into the stock market in the late 90s, early 2000s, what happened? You did get a lot more arbitrage happening, and so you got a narrowing in the spread of stocks and trading within stocks, right? So you had the low latency trading bots, essentially, of Wall Street, really making the most money. So the closer you were to the centralized server, the faster you can get that data, the more you can make the arbitrage on the money, the faster, right? And so you're going to kind of see something like that, but in a decentralized manner here in crypto, because you can't go to where Wall Street is in New York and get close to the centralized servers of the NASDAQ and everything like that. Instead, you have to have, some nodes to the Bitcoin network and other stuff in crypto. But, the faster you can get that information, the better. But it's not as much about speed as it is about automation. So there will be some automated trading and different stuff like that happening in crypto over the next couple of cycles. So that will also take a little bit of, probably by we get to the 2030s, that'll take a little bit of the ability for normal retail to make good money on it comparatively. But yeah, so I would say between the next, 6 years,